Hi, welcome back to part 4, all about your visibility goals, and not only exploring what you want for this month, but seeing what's underneath, what's holding you back, what's really going on, so we can support these goals so they actually come to fruition. There's no point, and I know this is obvious, but there's no point just setting goals and they don't happen. Otherwise, we're just like copy and pasting the same thing again and again. So let's understand you and your business and what's going on. So here's some more big questions. Number 1, where do you want to be liked? And so therefore, you are not being the true version of yourself. We as children got so many compliments and time and attention for being sweet and nice and adorable and not controversial. And it's always like when people would say, oh, this person is so sweet or they're so nice, I'm always just a bit like, what gave you that impression? Were they just doing what you wanted them to do? I know. Or were they just not controversial? Or did they just not really give you very much? They were a very vanilla person. I think, again, following on from what I said in the last video, that there is this concern about being cancelled. And so what might happen is we become this sort of candy floss version of ourselves, not saying too much or too little. And I know that, and I've seen it and I've felt it when people have been out and about, like when I have that connection with somebody of, oh, they've like really connected with my heart, it's probably because they're not in that, hi, I'm a really sweet person. They're not in that robotic state. They're sassy, they're lively, they're saying maybe controversial things that you're like, oh, she said that out loud, but yes, it's so true. I want you to play around in that place and see what comes to mind. Number 2, this thing about visibility goals is that they may not be happening in the way that you want because you're being reliant on whether or not you feel like it. And this is really difficult when we have to separate ourselves in this, because life you might want to sit in bed all day and hide under a duvet, but business you has to have that sense of like being open. So if you were a physical shop, you want to like say, we're open 9 to 5, Monday to Saturday, we will be here. And I think what can happen sometimes is if you're reliant on your online presence being the thing, you have to find alternatives that are going to support you when your life requires something else. So things like batching or automation or having different formats, different mediums of how you share your message, rather than just wondering each and every day whether or not you're going to feel like it. Because tell you what, when you feel like it one day, sometimes it can feel a while before you then feel like it once again. Number 3, visibility can be not purposeful. So you might look at your phone at the end of the week and go, wow, I really shared loads. I've really been on my phone a lot. Look how many hours I've been on my phone. But what have you been contributing? How have you been participating? And what can happen often is you think that you're busy because you're on your phone, but you're actually not. You're not being purposeful. You're just sharing other people's content and having a laugh and doing thumbs up and sending over a meme. And I want you now to be purposeful and connect your visibility time and action to the goals you want to achieve. Number 4, one of the things that happens so often is people do not reveal the next steps. Somebody may come across your work, absolutely love it. There's something about you that they connect with. So they might want to find out more. Is there more in the series of this kind of thing? Is there a follow-up situation? Do you offer free calls so they can chat further? What happens next? I want you to follow up with that and just keep saying it. I heard it once said in this way, that if you've had a really lovely meal, it's likely that you might want, or at least to look at the dessert menu. But if that dessert menu never comes, you're just kind of going, yeah, the meal was nice, but I would have have really, actually, do they do desserts? Like, you would want that next step. So think about that in terms of your clients and your customers. I think that's Denise Duffel Thomas, by the way, in Chillpreneur. That's, I think, where that comes from. Number 5, highlighting the VIP version. So a lot of people with their visibility is, and sometimes there is a relationship with selling going on behind the scenes. They are nervous about selling the big things because that feels more exposing or more vulnerable, or what will people say? Again, it goes round and round in a loop. So what they end up doing is end up focusing on the small items that they have to sell. And the thing is there will be some people who will only ever buy your cheapest thing, but there will also be some people who will only ever want your VIP one-to-one bespoke option. So make sure you say that you have both. So almost like if you were you had a designer sofa company, for example, there are some people who will say, I've got a huge family and I want one of those big sofas that are almost like half a square, where it's like there's an arm and then there's a long bit and then there's another bit, and they might want 2 chairs because their goal is to have a place and a space for their family to sit down. There are some people who are like, wow, £10,000 for a sofa. No, but I will buy a cushion from that range for this amount of money because that feels really good. I would love to know how that landed today. If you want help with this process, come on over to Speak Up, or I can do this work in a strategy session and we can go from there. Lots of love, and I'll see you next time. Bye.